Hey, here we are back again.
We are.
Woohoo.
We
Loving
love Mondays.
it. We love it.
We love Mondays. Mondays, I used to hate Mondays. I used to go, going to whether it's going to school or going to work, and I was like trudger, and then you get into the zone for the week. But now I get so excited to come into the studio. With my buddy.
And I started out with my show up. I take them every day. I really do. I show up and then my
You give good
reboot
show up,
because we've had a lot on lately, haven't we?
We've had one of my busiest weeks I've had probably all year. It's like, I even had to knock something back socially. I'd never do that.
Yeah, I know. This one, I know. She stood me up, but it was good. I got a great date anyhow out of that one, which was fun.
I love that.
But, some of the things we're up to as well with Di Westaway from Wild Women on Top. Now, she was on one of our season 1, and she invited us to see the movie, what was it called, Di?
And what
You're in
what
tears.
did I say to you? How much I've been excited to see the film. Because I've been following the guy's journey, the Salt Path.
The Salt Path.
And it's the most fascinating journey of this guy that was, almost at his last lingering days. And he went, no, screw that. We're going to go hiking. We're going to go walking. And off they went.
Lost everything. And it's a true story.
My neighbour walked in yesterday and she was bawling, and I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "I've just seen this movie. I need to pull myself together."
Wow,
and it was
it's a
that.
sad
Oh, wow.
She was hysterical.
We recommend that, and that for us also was a fundraiser, and that was for Coast Trek, and that's going to be on Blue. So we like to support a lot of
we do a lot of
the charities.
Some people often ask me what charities we support. I think she was asleep by the time I finished because because I never wanted to support just one.
No.
Like our big live event that's coming up on the 19th of June, something that's very dear to our hearts. And in fact, guys, our studios are in Woolloomooloo, is Oz Harvest, and
Ronnie Khan.
Yeah, we
is the
interviewed her.
founder.
We were dumbstruck by her energy, her power, her influence.
Feeding the homeless, and there's so many, and it's really at those high levels. And now it's winter here in Sydney. It's really important. So, I think we've still got a few tickets left. They're selling out, aren't
for
they?
I actually had a peek this morning and went, yippee!
Ooh, yippee, because we've got a whole panel of people with David the Medium. We've got Alex Andrews. We've got Roger Montgomery. We've got the Money Man. Exactly, I'm getting you.
My fave. I mean, they're all my faves. Like, God, they've all been amazing guests. But of course, Lisa McGregor will be. Stay tuned because there's going to be so much fun, and you'll hear about it if you can't make it afterwards. What's going to happen? There's so many surprises on the night.
Lisa Walker from
And what else have we been up to? We went to another
Boccacino.
Boccacino, our fave place in the Northern Beaches, a most amazing bookstore. You could spend days in there.
The Good Daughter, the book with Kumi.
One of my favourite shows, Insight, that she hosts.
I love that. She's the host. So I think so she'll be coming up.
I call her the walking host because she walks around, this group session. It's live. She's fascinating. And she's written a book, The Good Daughter, and I was in tears with that too.
She was in tears with that. And Julia
Baird,
who's
I've always admired because her book Phosphorescence,
we
my
love
fave.
that.
Yeah, and then
the B Centre Ball.
Oh my God!
Actually, we had Nikki Andronicus and we had Tanya Taylor on only a few weeks ago. Tune into that one. So that was a good one, and that's also helping young children. It's through play therapy, and it's such an important thing. If you can get there, when they're young and early,
it's a very gentle approach.
Really gentle approach.
So Nicola and I really do a lot. But we love B Centre. So if you're if that triggers anything for you, look them up.
Look them up.
Northern Beaches.
Hey, what else you've been having? I think you did a 12-hour session, didn't you, Dodie? What were you saying about that one?
And everyone does know. I'm not afraid to say.
No stopping you.
In my 60s, and I went to a beautiful lunch with my sisters on Friday. But on the Saturday, I went to a lunch at 12:30, and I then went on to my sister-in-law's 50th, and I was getting home at 12:30 at night, and I thought, cheapest creepers, and I'm still energised. Whoa.
Woohoo, you're only just starting.
What the hell is going on
here? We're only just starting.
But as long as I can dance. If I can dance, I'm my happiest.
My happiest.
I love that. Whenever I entertain Donna, if I'm dancing, I'm such
Di
a
gets the
high.
musical instruments
Yeah,
out
I
when she
do.
entertains. It's the best time. There's not a better entertainer than Di. I tell you that.
So
It
funny.
really is good.
Brings the child out in all of
So
us.
watch this space. Expect the unexpected on the 19th. Anything can happen
That's a
there.
great line. I'm going to write that one down, Nicola.
I think expect the unexpected. And,
I love that.
But we are all about sort of like living your best life, kicking ass as we age.
Love
And,
that.
so who have we got today?
Yippee-yi-yo.
Yippee-yi-yo. We have Kylie Jones right here at our back fence. So we're really thrilled to have you here, Kylie. And Kylie's built, I think a lot of people have know of Kylie because she's built an incredible global community with the 50 and Fearless. It's on Instagram, it's on social media, inspiring women over 50 to stop apologising and start living loud. Woo-hoo.
That's me.
It is. Kylie's mantra, encouraging women to step into their power, embracing midlife as their most powerful era, and I think we believe in that. Living life on your own terms. It's absolutely struck a nerve, and so now you've got over 600k women who are now following you, joining in, and you're saying stop apologising, start dreaming, and embrace everything this chapter has to offer.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard.
Welcome. We want to hear more.
Intro.
Yeah, don't you love? Actually, I'm always fascinated watching people's reaction to intros.
Hearing about yourself.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
You're pretty damn good. But
Now
you
you gotta
deserve it.
now in the interview, you got to live up to
Yeah,
that.
I know now. I've got to deliver.
No pressure. Many ways to start, but I think, particularly with an interviews, let's get to know you.
Yeah.
Tell us about, especially about the crossroads in your life, which was more of a transition period for change. Like, tell us about that.
Yes. 50 and Fearless, that's what I think is quite interesting. It started out as a personal journey. I say I hit rock bottom for my life. It was very much rock bottom. I was in marketing advertising for 30 years and I realised my whole who I was built around that work, my job, and it was everything and I gave everything to it. I moved back to Queensland to spend more time with my mum and dad because they were ageing. My company let me move back there. It was all very mutual. I'd fly back and forth. So I kind of felt like I was moving into this fabulous new era of I'm working, I'm back with my family, I'm back with mum and dad. And then within 13 months, it all came crashing down. So first of all, my father died suddenly of a heart attack, which
so sorry.
was 6 months after I moved back, which I found incredibly difficult to deal with. 6 weeks after my dad's passing, I was very suddenly retrenched.
Oh, what?
Completely out of the blue. I was shocked, like absolutely floored. I thought we were having a meeting, the classic, let's have a meeting, let's go through everything. I thought it was one of those meetings, and then I had the white envelope passed across the table.
Oh, no. Hopefully it had cash in it.
Yeah. Don't worry, I went back and negotiated.
I've been doing. Me open it. Maybe it's a check.
And then 8 months after that, my mum passed.
God,
so it was just this whole, what have I done, universe?
I'm floored hearing it.
Yeah. And I was in a bad place. I'm a single mum to a 16-year-old son, and it's always been him and I. And I had to try and pull myself out of that place. And it was a pretty dark time. And I started creating inspiration for myself. And I started creating just quotes. I'd stick quotes up every day and I'd try all these different things and I'd look at, try to run and all these different things. And then I decided I had to move back to Sydney. I realised I was really missing Sydney. So I came back to Sydney and then I just started posting on this Instagram page, and it was all for myself at the start. And then it happened so quickly. These women started commenting and following me. And I did just one post, which actually was on Princess Diana, that went viral very, very quickly. And from there, it kind of just went kaboom. Like, we're not even a year in yet. It'll be a year in July. And it just happened so quickly. But what I realised is I tapped in to a really, not even a niche audience, an audience that wanted to be heard, and an audience that wanted to be understood, and an audience that were craving that kind of discussion. And it kind of just grew from there. It's been so organic and I'm shocked by it. And I stayed faceless for up until only 3 months ago. I came out, as I say. I came out from behind and introduced myself. And I was really, really nervous about that because I didn't know how people would engage with me, if they'd like me. Like, social media can be a really, really scary place. I didn't go out there to put my face out there. That was never the idea. But I felt like these women wanted to have a conversation and they wanted to know who they were talking to. So then I finally put my face out there, and now I'm having these conversations, and we've just launched a community channel only like Monday, and
I've joined. I've learned about grounding. I've learned about drinking lots of water.
Grounding. And I just want to create this space for women to have conversations, feel confident within themselves again, because I do think we are put in a bit of a corner. And I realise now I've looked back on it and removed the emotion. My retrenchment was my age, and I know that.
You said it was your identity. So now this is your new identity emerging.
Totally, because it was gone.
So are you saying it was your age why you were retrenched?
I believe, yes, it was a big thing, because then after that, yes, and yes, it is, because then I went for so many interviews afterwards.
You get in the line.
So many different interviews.
So women are coming back.
Totally, but I got really, really taken back that I'd go to these interviews that I knew I could do standing on my head. You know, I've got 30 years of experience in marketing, and I would speak to HR after it going, can I just have a little bit of feedback? Because I'm a bit thrown by this, that I didn't get, be down to the two of us, and it was always the young one. And the HR were then saying to me, they want new energy. And I'm like, the experience I have is insane.
Yes.
And I remember a really dear friend of mine, he's an incredible businessman, and he said to me, I know you don't want to hear this, but to a company I'm employing you're old. But go in more as a consultant, because as a consultant you've got incredible experience. And I was floored by that. And he runs companies. And I said, I'm 50. This is insane.
You're just starting out.
That's right. And that's what I said.
And we're living longer.
I'm more confident than I've ever been. I'm probably more creative than I've ever been, because I'm thinking more out of the box. And it was just, so I think there's a huge stigma, especially in the corporate world, that when we do hit that 50, we've kind of run out.
I do believe it's changing rapidly, thank the Lord.
Absolutely.
Because your business is called 50 and Fearless. I mean, I've changed it. Sorry, I can't help myself. I've called it 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I mean, look at Jane Fonda,
50
for
plus.
example.
Yes.
And Fearless. My question to you is, can you define Fearless for me?
Oh, great question. I have a saying.
I only thought of it driving in.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Because I just thought, I wonder how she'll define that.
I have a saying within our community, and it's no fucks era. And Fearless.
Fuck.
You're no fucks. You give no fucks.
Right. Yes.
Sorry for
Ooh,
swearing.
we say that.
But
See, don't be a good girl.
Yeah. So we don't have to apologise anymore.
Be bold.
The F word,
Fearless and stepping into that era and going, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me anymore. And my Fearless is probably going, I was hanging my hat so much on this 30-year career that defined me and who I was and everything that I thought was about me. And then I suddenly went, that was a person that I'd probably not created, but I'd hid behind. Behind that person, because that was my badge of honour. Oh, Kylie's really great at marketing, and she's great at advertising, and she's known in the industry. And it was a badge of honour that I wore, and I was very, very proud of that. But once that came down, I'm like, actually, who am I? And what I discovered through all of that heartache of losing my parents as well is I'm a lot stronger than I ever thought I was capable of.
Wow.
That's so
took the
good
cape
to,
off.
Yes. And that's what it was.
Cloud.
Even today, getting dressed to come in, I put a black suit on because that was my
corporate
armour.
Yes.
That was my armour.
Yeah, it was your uniform.
It was my uniform.
Yeah.
My black suit was my corporate armour. And then I went, fuck, this isn't me anymore.
No, and the red looks good. I was thinking red's a power colour for everyone. We're on YouTube, so you can watch that. And I've actually got the black on, but I've got the cutouts.
You've got the cutouts.
That's not quite corporate. So
black.
Yeah.
You wear it
Well, you wear it well.
Yeah.
Oh, but can I ask?
singing enough lately?
No, she hasn't. Come on,
You
come on.
usually sing on the
She always
podcast.
sings. Well, I think
Why is
today we
that?
can.
It's naughty.
But what was that? With you're saying the turning point of everything all at once, and that's a hell of a lot, you know. And I'm really sorry with the loss of your parents, and is a massive thing, and then the job and everything in a short period of time is just an enormous. But what was the turning point when you've hit that rock bottom? And a lot of us have and will at different stages of life. But what was it that inside of you that just said, right, come on, let's do this inspiration. It's just for me. What was it in you? What was that turning point?
It was a night, and it was a bad night. And I'll admit, you know, I'd had a few wines. I was playing all Mum and Dad's favourite music, and I was on the lounge room floor hysterical. And my son came out and said...
How old then?
He was 14.
Right.
And he came out and he said, Grandma and Poppy would not want you to be like this.
No. What a wise
I've got
owl.
goosebumps now.
So consequently, what did you do? Bawl or?
Yeah, bald.
Yeah.
And then he gave me a big hug and he said, this is not what they want you to do.
I love
What a
this
beautiful
child.
young man. Very
Yeah.
insightful, isn't he?
Wow,
Yeah.
he's
And
an angel.
perceptive.
And the next day it was like, I've got to turn this around. I have to turn this around for him. I have to, because he'd always seen this very strong, independent mum who worked hard, and we travelled a lot with my work as well, and he'd come with me and, you know, he'd watch me work, and he's always so proud of me. And he used to say, I'm so proud of you, Mum. And I did a lot of work with, you know, supercars and NRL, so that was this is amazing. He'd come to all these events. And then he saw this mum hysterical on the lounge room floor, broken. And that was my big turning point. Not that I don't want him to see me like this, but he's right. I can't bring them back. I can't get my job back, but I can change my outlook, and I can turn a page over and find actually who am I, and that's who am I without that job, and who am I without my parents. Because everyone, you listen to your parents and they are your guide. And I moved away when I was younger to Sydney to come and work, but Mum and Dad were always there. And I think I miss my mum and dad the most when I'm in the car, because I'd always call them. And you'd call for that chat, and you'd call for that little bit of advice, and they were always there for advice for me. So it was like, who am I without my mum and dad guiding me? Who am I without my power suit of a job? And that's all gone now. And I think I had to really dig deep into, I am a strong person. I have shown up every day for Jet, that's my son, and I've always been there for him, and I have to continually be there for him. And day by day, I started doing things. I started exercising again. Moving back to Sydney was a big turning point because I love the ocean. I need to be by the water. I was in Brisbane. I wasn't near the water. I got
You
back.
had the river.
Yeah. The dirty
Lovely
brown
colour,
snake.
that river. Sorry, Brisbane listeners.
Sorry, Brisbane. Yeah, the dirty brown snake, as we call it. And I started those tiny, tiny little shifts.
Yeah.
Get back in the ocean every day, ground yourself, and find your strength again, because you're right. Like Jet was so right. Mum and Dad did not want to see me like that. And I also started tapping into them, knowing that they were around me, knowing that they were still hugging me, knowing that they didn't want me to be that person.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's Kylie's stories remind you of me when I was at my lowest ebb after my marriage break, in my 36-year marriage breaking down. My lowest ebb was ironically in the ocean, and Mum and Dad was sort of seeping through my mindscape. But it's funny, you know, Nicola, listening to Kylie's story just then, how many people have interviewed in the last few years where we talk, Nick and I talk often after the interview about the universe pounding you down. Oh, you think you're down. You think you're done. You're kicked up the ass, literally.
And you'll get one
there's
more.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then another
you got
wave,
the
bang.
job done. You get
Another wave,
you
bang.
get everything all at once.
And you're like, okay, I surrender.
Yeah.
I surrender now.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
No more. Oh, no, there's one more coming.
Yeah.
There's one more. You
No, I'm
actually,
done.
or you're hoodwinking yourself. You're not really surrendering.
Yeah.
And that night in the ocean, I did.
Yeah.
And didn't it, Nicola? It started turning around for me. And I was really empathizing with you then.
Yeah.
Totally when you were on that floor.
It's a
And
tough
I'm glad you
Nicola's
brought that
been
up.
there.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been there, and nearly every guest, even when we had Sarah Grinsberg on, who's interviewed so many people, people, and she said that they call it like the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
And most people have hit that rock bottom. It's a shame sometimes we have to get to that
Yes.
point to do
It
that
is, but it
turnaround.
isn't.
But then
Yeah.
again, we are stronger than what we sort of think that we are.
it's true.
And it makes you also appreciate those things. It does sound corny, but look, even with Elizabeth Gilbert, when she said she had her thing on the bathroom floor and crying and
Yep.
carrying on,
Yep.
most people
Lost the
have
plot.
those things there. I've been in fetal position,
Yep.
and we're really happy and outgoing people. But,
Yeah.
we do have those things. And I think that sort of thing for everybody when you're listening, if you are going through that now, that there is hope and that you can do that.
exactly.
And so I really,
Look at her.
and you're
Look at this
and you're a
woman.
living example.
She's on fire,
I
babe.
know.
It's
So-
a new beginning.
Well,
I know.
it's funny because when I was getting all the knockbacks on the jobs now, I was really getting really depressed about it. But I now realise that was all part of the journey.
Redirection, as they say.
Totally. It was
Rejection is redirection.
100%.
Isn't it? And it really is. You
100%.
don't know that at the time, but
No.
normally there is that universal bigger plan.
I love
So-
the her
Some of the
universal
quotes,
big
we love
plan
it.
was just
Listen.
when you said because one of your passions is identical to Nicola and Di. We've said from the beginning of the inception of this podcast was life after 50 for us. It's a whole new beginning, right?
Yeah.
And you say, which I love, it's something. It's a beginning of something extraordinary.
Yes.
And so you have a community of, as Nicola said, 600,000 women followers. My God, kids have left home. Hey, guess what? You can think about you.
And I
Yeah,
think
yes,
that's
yeah.
the thing.
Remember
Like,
that? Think about you.
I still have my son at home, but it's actually when all these things, all these titles that you think you have to be, and that was my thing. I had all these titles that suddenly went, and that included being a daughter. I know they're still with me,
Yeah.
but when they leave, you then look at yourself and go, who am I? And even when I look back, I loved the corporate world, but that was never really what I wanted to do. I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to inspire people in some type of way.
See, look at the good that's
So
coming out.
It's totally.
Yeah.
You put it the dark night of the soul turns to the white night of the soul.
And it's
you know?
also in a really fun and humorous way as well. So if you
Yeah.
haven't
Yes.
tuned in, I think everyone
It's
else
very,
too.
very true.
It's so.
Yeah.
What are some of your favourite sort of quotes?
I've been
and some
following
of
you,
the-
by the way, for a year.
Yeah, this one
Oh,
has
have
been.
you
Yeah, from the
Di has
beginning.
from the
Oh
very
my
beginning.
goodness,
Tell you
that is
Yeah,
amazing.
Said
yeah.
to Nicola,
You-
and she mentioned, I went, oh my God, no. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've got so many quotes. And the other thing, Nicola, I'm laughing at, I mean, we will ask you, tell the listeners about what 50 and Fearless is about, but we love the caps. Tell us what is written on your
my caps
50
say,
Fearless
Yes,
caps.
I'm in my no fucks era. We've asterisked it so it doesn't, because that's what it is. And that's how I felt. Like, also, I lost my parents, but I gained a lot of aunties that were like, get a job, buy the house, like do all these things now. And it was like, no, finally I'm going to do what I want to do. And I used to talk about I'm in my no fucks era, and it really resonated with my audience. And then I said to my audience, who wants caps? And they all went, yes, 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 yes. So we sort of created these caps.
It's brilliant.
And so you do it with humour, and it's really fun. And I think it's
Yes.
also, you've tapped into sort of like this whole sort of, people now that we're just going, we're not people pleasers anymore.
No,
You've got to this
so
stage
true.
now,
Yeah.
and you're just going, no, it's actually our turn.
It's our turn.
It's our turn.
Yeah.
And let's just turn the volume up, speak out,
Yes.
speak loud,
Yeah.
have some fun
Yeah.
along the way, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love Turn the Volume Up because I love where I read, it was one of your posts, and it was a shout out to everyone who had report cards growing up that read, because I had it, and I was
Yeah,
only
I had them.
showing my new boyfriend my
yes.
reports
This is
the
from
other
my
day.
own experience.
She talks too much, right? But it talked too much. Talks too much. Turns out we were just a generation with a lot to say. And we're finally saying it loudly, proudly, unapologetically. Because what did you say before, the good little girl? Like,
Yeah.
the pleasers,
People pleasers, yeah.
Right?
No,
And
yeah.
now it's like, no.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
no.
think so.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
got
our
something to
turn.
say.
Our
It's
turn. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And your other one too, I love it, is we're not our age, we are our energy.
Our energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How true is
Yes.
that?
100%.
It speaks 1,000 words,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Tell
all
us
energy.
about that.
Yeah.
What's that
Well,
like
that's
for
what I'm
you?
really trying to aspire. I get a lot of DMs every day, and I do try and get back to everyone. But that's
Good
what
girl.
women talk about. They're like, I feel because it is a hormonal shift as well.
yes.
And I don't talk anything really on there about menopause because I think there's a lot of people talking about that, but I think there's a lot of negativity around that. I like to talk about the power of menopause and that when you do have that hormonal shift, you do step into that power, and it is about owning that power and turning up your energy and turning up who you really are. Because I think we've hid it for so long with all the titles we are as the mum and the wife and the daughters and everything else. And then I think when that hormone change happens, you find out who you really are and who you want to be. And that's what I talk a lot about, the women that DM me. They're like, how did you do it? What are your top tips and things like that? And it's like, find out what has always lit you up. Dad's
always
lit you up. What lights
what
you
lights
up? What
you
really
up.
lights
Love
you
that.
up?
Love
Find
that.
what lights you up and do more of that and step into that and do what excites you. And I think for so long, all these years, we've had to do probably what others wanted us to do, and I think finally, like you're saying, when the kids leave and there's all these different changes happen, we become who we're always meant to be. We just turned our light down for so long.
Wow,
And we
I love
dimmed
that.
our light. So now turn it up as bloody bright as you can make it.
Yeah.
Wear the red, don't wear,
That's
wear whatever
true.
excites you as well. Turn up your
That
light.
is
And what other people
so
think of you,
good.
it's not your own business. I mean, really now it's like now you're you don't have to worry about that. Well, we
Yeah.
were beforehand, you get a reputation, you
It's
can't say
true.
this,
Yes.
zip a little bit,
Yes.
Zip it up.
quiet inside
Yeah.
voice. This sort of, these sort of things that was trained to when we were younger. Were those
Very much
sort of
so.
like,
Let it go.
Yeah.
Like totally
Yeah.
release it all and let it go.
Yeah.
And I've had to be careful because I've not many at all. I've had a few, the negative comments, and I'll go, then I'm like, you are out there talking
gotta,
about
yes.
don't let people, and you just let it go.
Yeah.
Let all that go and just be yourself and have fun.
Yeah.
I think
Some people don't know what that is. Be yourself.
Yes.
How would you, if for someone listening, I go, well, I don't know who I am. How can I be myself? I've lost my identity. How would you suggest to a woman to actually break free and go break the glass and shatter the glass?
And shatter the
go,
glass.
oh God, here I am.
I think you've got to go back. Actually, I think you go back to your younger years and you do think about who actually did I want to be back then and who am I now? Because I think we get lost along the way. So if you go back to that younger self that had all those dreams, that had all those aspirations, that had all these things they wanted to do, but all the other things got in the way of doing that, go back to there
Wow.
and find that person again and start doing it.
Wow, I love that,
Oh, I love to
Kylie.
tap-
Yeah.
It's like stripping bare, isn't it?
Strip it back.
Spot on.
Totally strip it all back again
Wow.
because you'll find the nugget of information there.
Oh, it's juicy.
And then
Yes.
go, actually, that's the girl I wanted to be, but all these rules and regulations came in that what I was meant to be, and find her again.
Oh.
And
That's actually making me
It's
feel
so,
like
Yeah,
it's
really
it's really
tap
much-
into
and you know
it.
what? There's a whole community of support for everybody. So when you're
Totally.
feeling that way, give yourself a hug. And,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah.
So, no, I love that you asked that, Di.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
a really
great
good
question.
thing.
And hug that girl.
Well, you
That
might say
girl.
a great
Yeah.
question, but I say what a great answer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect that.
Right.
It was not at all. And I'm still emotional about it because I'm still thinking and reflecting on
It's
it.
beautiful.
Because the image of who you were, who you, I say are as a child.
We're
rather
always
than
evolving,
were.
aren't we?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like to actually tap into that, the gold of the
That
gold
nugget,
nugget,
yes.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's a gold. It is that gold nugget because we all had a lot of dreams and a lot of aspirations and a lot of things we wanted to do, a big, small, whatever it was. But when we were younger, we knew that. But all the things happened along the way that stopped us from doing that. And I think we were probably scared back then as well. I mean, you know what it's like being a teenager or a young lady. It was a little bit daunting, and we didn't even have social media back then.
Yes.
And
Thank
now we're
Yes.
stepping into this power and this, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Go back to her and bring that power in. And I think you've
Ooh, a
got
layer.
an amazing base of how to start.
It's really great
Yeah.
because also you're using the power of social media in a really positive way, Kylie.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
100%.
you know, because we always know there's good and bad with
true.
everything, but
Everything.
like what you've done, you're putting in energy, you know, good energy,
Yes.
and we always think good energy attracts good energy
Yeah.
as well. So you know, there's no
Yeah.
sort of surprise why it has gone global.
And I think that's what's resonating.
And where do you
with
get
women.
all your content from? Is it what you know, like all your fantastic clips and all your, is it just your?
So I do a lot of I do a lot of scrolling.
Yes,
I get
have to.
yeah, I know. I get my report on my phone. I'm like, oh my god, that's so bad. How many hours I've spent on it? But I'm constantly
research.
But it's work, yeah.
Yeah, and also though thinking about like the one, you know, I was always in trouble for talking too much.
Yeah.
Always, every report
Give me a high
card.
five.
Kylie would do
Exactly,
such
yeah, all of
talk so
us,
much.
yeah.
That's my problem.
So that came from that thinking, you know, and it's tapping into those ideas and the thoughts. And I have a whole whiteboard wall in my house. I've got an office in my house, and I'm just constantly writing ideas. Some of my best ideas come in the shower. I have whiteboard markers in the shower.
I
You
love
don't.
that.
Yes, I do.
You don't. Waterproof pens.
Well, no, there's a big glass shower, so I will write with my whiteboard markers.
Oh, there you
that's
go,
funny.
guys.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
Tori
It's a goodie.
Archibald said something with, she does her thing in the shower too.
Yeah.
Remember she puts that little oil on her chest and she does like this
Yes.
little sort of mantra thing there.
Oh, you've got a good memory.
Yeah, and the chest can be a powerful place. You know, letting it all
That's
flow.
amazing.
You know,
Yes.
I think that's a really good thing.
Incredible.
That's
Sort of
interesting.
my space. Even when I worked in marketing and advertising, my
Yes.
creative thinking would come in the shower. So
Just don't run out of that hot water,
I know,
or maybe
no,
cold showers are good.
No, I had
I try
whiteboard
not to
markers.
have them too hot. It's funny. You mentioned the quotes and all the work you put into to your site, 50 and Fearless. I just want to. There's a couple that
Love some of these quotes.
I've loved that. Honestly, I've photographed. As I said, I've been a stalker of yours for a while. I love that.
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Nicola goes, oh God. But Tina
Oh,
Turner.
she loves it. Yeah.
Age is no issue to me. I think 50 is the new 30
Yep.
and 70 is the new 50. There are no rules that say you have to dress a certain way to be a certain way.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
100%.
confines, you've got to be, you should be, you
Yeah.
ought to be. Screw it all. Just,
Yeah.
Let it all go.
just say
Especially
yes.
dressing. I did one with Erin Brockovich this week, and it really resonated with women because it was in the movie, the guy has a go at how she's dressing for
Yes.
her age.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's the thing. You wear what lights you up.
Yeah.
You wear what makes you feel good. You know, I wear a lot of leather pants. I still wear, short skirts and all but that makes me feel good. It's whatever makes you feel good you wear. It's interesting that you brought that one up because that is always a big discussion.
Yes.
And I think women are clearly feeling like they can't dress the way they want to dress.
Yeah,
And
yes.
that's why I say throw all that out.
Yes.
Like
And
I'm
isn't
with
that
you.
changing
Yeah,
now? You know, and you're seeing
absolutely.
people, like Demi Moore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
older women
Yeah.
now in their 60s beyond, and they're
Rocking it,
they're
baby.
rocking
Rocking
it, and other ones when letting their hair go silver
Yeah.
and grey
Yes.
and looking fabulous with
And
it
modelling
as well.
with it.
Modelling, it's we've got a
Yeah.
few friends who are doing
interviewed,
that. Bridget,
Bridget
yeah.
from, what's it called?
Bridget does, yeah.
You know who we're
Silver
talking
Fox,
about?
was it?
Yes,
Silver
we,
Fox.
Silver Fox, yeah.
She's an
Great
amazing
concept.
supporter. She's an amazing supporter
Oh,
of the
she
page.
would
Yeah,
be.
yeah, she's
She would
great
be.
because she's all
Awesome.
into age embracing
Yeah.
things too. No, I love some of those quotes
Only
there. What are
a
some of
quick
the other
one
ones?
because we interviewed
Yes.
Kathy Lett, Nicola and I.
Love Kathy. Yeah, she's great.
She's fantastic.
And look,
Yeah.
I'll
Read
even
between
find
my
a grab.
lines,
Yeah.
I might find a grab for you to put up. She just says, just be a little bit naughty every day.
I love that.
And some people go cross-eyed and go,
yeah.
well, how do you, what? Oh,
Yeah.
Remember, first up, you don't want to hurt anyone.
That's
but
right.
just be a bit naughty. Be bold. Why not?
I
You
know.
know?
Like, what's the alternative?
fun.
So
That's
right.
really,
You know, oh, I shouldn't. Why not?
Yeah.
And I think to your point, not going down the sad path again at all, but I think that was a big turning point. My mum and dad were 72 and 73. To me, that is incredibly young still.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
And
it
it's
is.
like life, when you hit this, you're like, life goes so quickly.
It does.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Have fun with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, bloody sell up everything and travel the world if that makes you happy.
That's
do you know what
true.
I mean?
I
Do what makes you happy.
My parents in their 70s, you know, and I remember my mum who said to me, she goes, Nicola, you get old very quickly. You know, so it's like make the most of it.
Make the most of it.
And I think I'll tell you what, your parents would be certainly proud of you, you know, with what you're doing. And it's not all that long ago since you've gone through this
That's
event.
so lovely you say that.
Yeah, but they would be. They really would be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think the turning point was my son saying they wouldn't be happy with you being like that. Where now
it's interesting.
I feel their energy with me for sure.
Beautiful.
Those turning points in life, even when Tim Olsen was a different sort of scenario, but when he doesn't mind talking about it also on a podcast there, but also when he had his issue with drinking, he hasn't drunk since then, but it was his 3-year-old, I think his son was young at the time, but sort of saw him that way at Christmas and said something like, Daddy, wake up or whatever. And then it was his son there going, right, that's it. And then he just changed. And
Funny,
got the help he needed.
Love.
But it was his son and saying that, and only son as well.
Yeah.
So it's incredible what you're doing. We
quote
love it. Some more
another
quotes. We want some more quotes. Another one, yes, yeah.
Can I?
Yeah,
Can
go
I?
on.
Please,
I've got a
please,
couple
please,
written
please,
down
please.
there. I love
Please,
it. I love your
please.
quotes.
I
Go.
remember them. Yeah.
I'm
have I
going to
got?
ignite your memory.
yes.
My
banks.
memory here. That's right.
I did love Mel Robbins' mother-in-law.
love her.
She was amazing where she says, it's not just the Mediterranean diet or exercise.
Yeah.
Number one is to be socially connected. Reach out and look forward. Do not wait for someone to call. You just make the call, organise a fun time yourself. Because a lot of people say, well, no, I've got friends now, or my friends have moved away, or my career's changed, so I don't see those people anymore. Whatever. Just, get involved, as Nicola and I say a lot. There's so much going on in your community.
You can volunteer.
Yeah, you can volunteer.
Yeah, which is a really good
Hi,
thing.
I like this person. Hi, would you like to come for a drink tonight? Initiate it. Don't wait and sit back on the sidelines. And my last one I'm going to say
No, that's an excellent point. And
true,
I second and triple that, because you really do have to. And then if someone can't do it, that's fine. It's like if you get a knockback or rejection, that's okay. Ring the next person
That's
then.
right.
Exactly.
We're doing
exactly right.
You should be aware, a bit of a 30-day reset to fabulousness, I'm calling it. But one of the things that we're coming up to, just pick up the phone and call a friend that you haven't spoken to a while, or, reach out to someone that you want to catch up with, because I think we do sometimes go into our own little worlds as we get older, and we're not as social, but being social is so healthy everything for you.
Kick your heels
Make
up,
sure
everybody.
Yeah. And even within the community that we've just launched on Monday, I love one lady said, I'm feeling a bit down, and I don't. And another woman jumped straight on, what's your number? Send it to me, I'll call you now.
And I love this.
That
I'm like,
is
we only started
great.
this Monday, and this is exactly
Look at your
what
face.
I wanted.
Yours is let out.
That's what I wanted.
That's what it's all
That's what I
about.
love about this community. And the other woman said, are you serious? Yeah, okay. And I'm like,
Wow.
You know what? That
it
is
gave
so
me
good.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
We love that
Beautiful.
community. We've got a back fence community,
We
and
do.
for our event, we've got some people coming across from Perth for
Yes.
our
Oh,
event.
wow,
So
that's
it's just
amazing.
wonderful. And
Yeah,
Melbourne,
it's
we
lovely.
come from actually from all over the place, which is fantastic.
Very
But it is
special.
very, very special.
Yeah.
But it's really
We
important.
all
that I
hug
reach
each
out.
other. Remember that. There's always
Yes.
someone out there to give you a hug or have a chat. A cup of coffee doesn't, take much just to say, where do you live? It's so simple. Reach out.
Such a simple
Don't
thing to
sit
do.
back. Yeah,
Absolutely.
be brave.
What
because
have I
some
got
people
here?
are very
You've got
introverted.
I think this is your own quote. So let me quote you, if I can read my writing
love
here.
your scribble with the
Don't
rip
you love
through
it?
the page.
So I know, really, you're so funny. Some of the best parts of my life grew from the very mistakes I once beat myself up over. If you're in the thick of it, then what now? It's now, what is it? You're not broken, you're not behind, you're just being redirected. So keep going and trust the process.
100%.
Yes. Wowza.
That was mine. Yes.
Did you write that? Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was mine because of
That's
my
a really
experience.
inspirational one, isn't it?
Beautiful.
And I think
You're not broken. We all feel we are broken.
that's right. And I think when
Well,
you
maybe
feel
you
you're broken,
are,
that's it.
but acknowledge it.
Acknowledge
hey,
it.
there's
Yes,
only
isn't
one
it?
way out of it.
Yeah.
Coming up, baby.
And I think my entire life is well, not my entire life, but I never got married. I watched my friends get married, and that just never happened for me. So I kept thinking, what's wrong? And why don't I have the picket fence and all that sort of stuff? So there was a lot that went into that quote.
Wow.
It just wasn't my lowest point. But then I suddenly things are falling into place. This was always the path I was meant to be on.
Oh,
And it's been an amazing journey to get me
love
here.
it.
And everything came for a reason. And I know it's such a cliche, everything happens for a reason. But now where I sit today, it all makes sense.
Oh, God, yes.
Like it all makes sense
I reckon
to
we all
me.
got destinies. It's all
You
planned,
know what? I think there's a
predestined, should I
plan.
say?
There is a bigger
So I
plan.
surrendered after my marriage. I just went, oh, okay, take me on this journey.
Yes.
It was when you surrendered after like a lot of time of sitting at the grief and a
Yep,
long time.
3
As
years.
girlfriends there, sometimes you go, oh, we should get out of it quicker because,
Yeah.
but you have to honour it.
Yeah.
And then in your time when you did, and then, and now she's just soaring, like,
just
sort of
awareness
move
around
out,
it.
watch out
It's
this
true.
world. But, we've interviewed a
This
lot
is
of
your
different
moment.
people, and it's interesting, everyone's got a story and everyone's inspiring, but one of the ones that's always been, to me, now she's the late Dr. Gladys McGarvey. She was
you heard of her?
103, and she's written a
amazing.
book. It's fantastic. I think it's the life. What was the best life you've lived, or something? We'll get the
brilliant.
exact note
103.
of 103.
Yeah.
We've had her on a podcast. It's just incredible. Now she came to our podcast and she was actually bike riding, but her story.
No, she was late.
She was late.
We went, no.
She's like, sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. She said, because I've just come off my tricycle.
We had hangovers and she was
103.
cycling.
She was 103
Yeah.
when she cycled.
Yeah. She was late to the interview.
So last
She'd been
season,
cycling.
listen to her. She's absolutely huge. But she tells her story as well, that she came into her own in her 70s.
Wow.
And she was on the talk circuit in her 90s. She wrote her book, and we interviewed her at 103.
Yeah.
We're very honoured because she
And very
passed.
fortunate because how long after?
Not that long
She
after
passed away.
passed away, and her
Wow.
message, and it's absolutely incredible. But it's just, and then she got divorced. Her husband asked that when she was in her 70s, and she hit a rock bottom then.
Yep.
I think lost
And
a
she
child. I mean, so
"Screw
many
you."
things, and sat in the pain and was screaming in
Cured
pain.
herself from cancer.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Listen
so
to
for
that.
I've got to listen
everybody,
to it.
it's
Yeah,
never too
100%.
late. Ages, it's like 50. You should be thinking of you're just a kid, like, and we're
So
kids.
true.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's true.
It really
Yeah.
does
Now I'm in my
give hope.
60s. I'm like,
So that's
And
all an
I think,
attitude.
yeah, exactly. I think you all have those turning points, and I think
Yeah.
the really important thing is to make sure. Own it, and sit in it for a little while. And this didn't happen like the week after. This was a journey where I had to find who I was again. And each day I would post just things that were inspiring me. And, it did take off. But I think that's a really important message. If you're not feeling great, don't think, I'm sitting here going, I changed the world, changed my own world overnight. It takes time. And you do have to go through the process. You do have to go through and let it flow through you. I think there was times when I didn't want to cry, and then I realised you got to cry.
Oh, yes.
You got to let this out.
Oh, God, yeah.
crying strength.
Healthy.
Yeah. And I'd go
Tears can
swimming and
talk.
scream under the ocean. That was
and
really
it's an ongoing
therapeutic
thing,
for me.
relate to
don't you
that.
think, Kylie? I don't think
Truly.
you ever. It's not like you've reached the point. So, with our
No.
podcast, we're learning every day.
Absolutely.
And I think sort of till forevermore, however long we've got here, we are, students of
day.
life.
Every
And
day.
sometimes it is you're going 1 foot, forward, and then 1 step forward,
I
and
think
then 2
I've
steps
reached
back.
the pinnacle. Oh, no.
No,
Yeah.
no, and you can
Wake
always you'll slip back again. It's part of it, but then
that's
also
great.
using the strengths,
Yes.
and sometimes tapping in and thinking of the things of going, well, actually, write down what I have achieved quite well. And if you do that, you go, well, okay, come on, Nicola, or come on, Di, or come on,
That's
Kylie,
really,
or come on,
really good
listeners.
tip.
Let's keep
This
on
is
going.
my last one I'm going to read.
I love them all.
I know this one. Well, she's one of my favourite actresses, Susan Sarandon. I mean,
she's fabulous.
let's be
she's
honest,
great.
she's in her late
We
60s.
really love her.
Yeah,
If
she's
not
late-
early 70s, something.
70s, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
She was
Looking
in
good.
a movie, and this is, again, God, plugging Fear 15 Fearless, 60, 70, 80, 90 Fearless. The only thing at the end of the day that you'll regret are not the mistakes that you make, because you can make your peace with them and move on. You're going to regret the moments you did not take, and this is your moment.
Ooh.
So
Yep.
it's,
a powerful
hey, was yesterday shit?
Mm-hmm.
Did that all happen? Yeah. But wake up. Today's your moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today
Yeah.
is the day you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Just say yes to it and just do it. It's
Like
classic
it's the
Nike,
Nike
but
ad.
it's so
I know.
true. It is so true. Just do it. I mean, even
Like-
when I was coming out and showing my face, I was so nervous about that. I was actually terrified. It took me months to do but I thought I can't have the shift that I now want to make if I just keep showing quotes. As much as I love the quotes.
I get that.
And it was interesting when I came out because no one knew I was doing it. None of my friends knew.
Oh,
Really?
I love this.
No
You
one
kept
knew.
that. So you were doing it,
Yeah.
and you didn't say to your friends.
No one
The
knew.
ghost
Because all our
Insta
friends
girl.
knew when we were doing this. So I guess
Yeah,
we did
no.
that.
I
But
think
I
the
love
whole
that.
world knew.
Do you know why? Because I didn't want anyone's
double
opinion.
amplify.
I didn't want anyone's thoughts. I didn't want anyone telling me, "What do you mean you're doing a quote page? You know, what are you
How's
doing?"
that?
And so I kept it very, very
Brilliant.
secret. And it was my phone then blew up, and it was hilarious. All these friends were following me that I had no clue. No clue. And they're like, "We can't believe this is you. We've been following you this whole time. Like, this is insane."
That
Wow.
is, I think that's really cool because also other people can have their opinions and you can shift. If you listen to other people's voices,
That's right. And I don't think I would have stayed on the path.
No,
I don't
because they
think.
could say, "Oh, that's been done. Or
That's
that's a bit corny."
fascinating.
That's
And you
right.
might in the middle of the night go, "Actually, it's
So
just right."
true.
You know, you have
Yes.
the doubts
And girlfriends you
about that.
do bloody listen to.
You know,
Oh, you
yeah.
do.
They know
Yes.
me.
That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And I think I would have probably listened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where now they're so supportive,
Wow.
and
Of course
you know,
they
every
are.
day I'm getting all these messages about how about you do this and how
Wow.
about you
Oh,
do that.
how
And
fabulous.
has there been
Yeah.
one sort of really standout one for you? You know, that's sort of like, you know, you said one that really blew up. Has there
most
been sort of one,
most
yeah,
feedback.
something for you, yeah?
Um,
Or is there a thread or theme of sort of something
I
that's really...
think the theme to me, like I always joke there'll be some nice whimsical ones and they don't really pack the punch. I love the ones that really pack the punch. And
Like
sometimes,
such as? Like what sort of-
Well, the Erin Brockovich
Yes.
one.
Yeah,
that's my fave.
You know, and he says, she says, you know, I don't have two asses. I've got one where she says, but it's about women, wear what you want to wear.
Yeah.
So to me, anything that is really strong, saying just be you, be you. Anytime I go a little bit whimsical, and I do test things, I do test to see, you know, what the market.
Yes.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, that's nice. It doesn't get
Yes.
great
No.
engagement.
Yes, it's
Where-
not punches, you
yeah,
say.
Yeah.
I love the ones where women go, I love this.
Yeah.
I'm changing what
Got
I
a
do. This
real
is-
jolt, isn't it?
resonates
Yeah.
with me. I feel the power.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that I get really sort of passionate about. And then I go down my research rabbit hole of, okay, what else can we talk about? And so I think the ones that women go, that is me, I'm stepping up, I'm stepping into my power, I love this. The ones that create change, that's what sort of lights me up.
Tell me
Yeah,
about some of your
wow.
events
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the courses, just briefly.
So we are now
Yeah.
working, now that I've come out, I am now working on all different courses. So we're about to launch in 3 weeks' time courses on finding your confidence. So I've spoken to a lot of women, and confidence is a big thing for women that they
very
feel
much.
they lack.
Yes.
Which you go, okay, how can I help these women find their confidence again? So there's something about confidence. We're talking a lot about life after marriages ending and finding new relationships. And then I talk about women stepping into also their sexual power. So it's really finding, and when I say that, it's about their own, how to feel sexy about themselves and how to feel good about themselves, because I think so many women lose. And that comes down to confidence as well. So that feeds in and tapping into all of that. So there's quite a few different courses that we're working on at the moment. And then I want to go global with meetup events.
Beautiful.
So my biggest audience, surprisingly, well, it surprises me, is New York.
Well, I love that.
Yeah, so
New
New
York-
York, Melbourne, Sydney go back and forth on a constant basis.
Woohoo.
So it's Sydney, Melbourne.
There's always
sorry,
that
New York,
rivalry.
Sydney, Melbourne.
I'm a
Yeah.
Melbourne girl originally.
Yeah.
There's
Sydney,
always
Melbourne,
that.
New York.
Sydney, yeah. So
LA?
it's quite
Cool.
interesting. LA is not high. I think it sits about 10th. London is very high. That sits up there very high. But it's completely global. And I find it so interesting since we've launched the caps. I love every day looking at where I'm sending them to, because I'll
how
package them all up.
wonderful.
That's
And
exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
exciting.
It's amazing, and we are
Yeah.
completely global. I had a thing with Shopify the other day. It wasn't working. I contacted them. I'm like, there's this label, it won't print, and they're like, we'll come back to you, and they're like, it's going to Monaco. No one's ever sent anything to Monaco.
Good girl.
It's not going through the system. I'm like, great.
Some
So
bulgy,
someone's in
fabulous
I'm
chick.
in my bucket era cat in
Yeah,
Monaco.
We love
that's
it.
really
We love it
joyful, isn't
all.
it?
Yeah.
Wow. And do you
Yeah.
have any other
Wonderful.
sort of tips on just sort of like longevity? You know, like I know you're sort of saying with your grounding, drinking lots of water.
Yes.
What's
so
sort of
to
some of
me,
your Kylie
and
tips?
you do see it everywhere now. It is the weights. Like I am now very much into lifting weights. I watched my mum get quite frail, and I think
Yeah.
when you lose your parents young, you go down a lot of research. I've done a lot of research, and so I'm very into, you know, walking, but nothing crazy. Like we're not talking go and run a marathon. Go on your morning walks, ground yourself, drink your water. and just have balance
Cheers.
in life.
Yeah.
Like you just need that balance.
Yeah.
But I'm really passionate now about trying to lift weights because of your bone density. And I think the thing we get into at this age, it's not about just staying skinny and slim and all that sort of stuff. It's looking after your body for that longevity. Water, hydration, all that sort of stuff. And just healthy eating and balance.
Also, weights, building the muscle supports your organs too.
All of it.
Posture.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. So,
And I think, though, the biggest tip is just find your inner happiness. Like, be happy. And I think when you...
Be happy.
Be happy, I know.
Don't worry.
Like, find things that really
and
excite
what
you.
else do you do, say, like
I
on your
love that.
downtime when you're not doing this? What
Yeah.
other sort of activities and what else sparks joy for you, Kylie?
Ocean. I have to be in the
Okay,
ocean
yeah.
every single day.
Mother Nature.
And Mother
Yeah.
Nature.
I love it,
I
she
swim where there's these big blue groper fish, and I say good morning to them every morning, and I love it. I do a
beautiful.
lot of paddle boarding. I
Really?
snowboard.
That's on water.
Yeah.
It's just frozen.
Yes.
Oh, you're active.
I'm very active. When you've got a 16-year-old son who is incredibly active,
Yep.
and I stay active with him, and then that gives us time together. We love snowboarding together. I've attempted to surf for 20 years. I fail. He's a very good surfer.
Fabulous.
But I'll still go out with him and we'll sit out the back and it's great chat
You
time.
have such a great relationship with your son.
He's great.
Beautiful.
He's a really, he's a great.
Well,
And
he's
he's
another
lovely.
one that will be proud of you, and you're obviously
Very
proud
much
of
so.
him as
Very
well.
much so.
Yes,
You
very
know,
much
we're
so.
lucky
Do
we've
our
all have them.
questions.
I know. We're going to. So, what do you want to go first?
Why
Do?
not?
We've got a few questions we're going to throw at you.
Yeah, there's one in particular I'd love to hear, particularly with all these posts. If you had an opportunity of meeting someone over the back fence, anybody, alive, passed on, lives overseas.
I think it's a very obvious
Who would you
one.
meet at the back fence?
I would want
your
my
parents.
mum and dad.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd want my
Yeah,
mum and dad
yeah.
because I think there was so many conversations I wish I had, and that would be my advice to everyone: have them while you can. Because they were sudden, I went back to Queensland thinking I was going to have all this time with them, and I didn't. And so that would be, I would love to chat to them over the back fence and just have those chats that I didn't get to have.
Yeah.
I get that.
Wow.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Oh, wow.
Kylie.
That's a great one. Don't be scared and don't follow the rules.
Oh, that's good, isn't
Don't
it?
It's
follow
goody.
the rules.
You like
Straight
a few,
to the point.
Yeah.
I
Rule
love
breakers,
that.
don't we?
No,
we
actually,
say
that's
bend
great.
the rules a
Yeah.
little bit, don't we?
We're good at that.
Don't
We're
follow
the
the
experts.
rules. Because I back when
Bend
I
it like Beckham.
Yeah.
That's us.
Woo, that's
That
a good
is
one.
us.
Yeah, because I
Kick
go
up the
back to
butt.
that girl. I had so many things I wanted to do, and I had incredibly great parents that were like, go to uni and get the degree and get the job, and I did all of that. And that's where I say, go back to that girl that had all those dreams, and now when you've got no rules, start doing all those sort of things. So, yeah, don't follow the rules. I mean, don't be illegal and all that sort of stuff, but have fun and
Be naughty.
Yeah.
Kathy Letts Lana.
Kathy
I
Letts.
live
Be
by
naughty.
it.
It's
I
so
live
true.
by it.
Yeah.
And I do. I have a lot of fun. I mean, my girlfriends would say that about me. I do have a lot of fun. And that's what I love. Like, just brings me joy to be around friends and just have fun. Yeah, be naughty. That's my new one, I think. Don't follow the rules and be naughty.
No,
that
that's
one.
great. It's great. I'll send you the Kathy Lett episode.
I love that.
Do you want to?
Because she's
the
naughty. I
lucky
think
last
she's
Pearls
question.
of wisdom. Oh, what makes you happy? I
What
think it's
makes
the
you-
ocean.
The ocean and
Your son.
the ocean and my son
Yeah.
and my friends. I've got
Yeah.
great friends. So and travel.
Oh yeah.
I love travel and just seeing different countries. And that's my thing now. Now I'm like, okay, I want to go around the world and meet all these incredible women that I'm inspiring.
So you
and-
believe in it?
Wow.
You know, you're manifesting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power of
yeah,
belief.
I can
Yeah.
see myself,
Right,
you
you
know,
wanna
doing
do
these
it.
global meetups.
Well, you are living it and breathing it,
are.
Kylie
Yeah,
Jones.
really
It's just
are.
fantastic. At
Yeah.
50 and fearless. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming on, and
you.
thank you
Thanks for
everyone for
having me.
listening.
Yeah, I love
and you
it.
can watch it on YouTube. So do
Yahoo.
that. Don't forget to rate and review. Share it with a
Now I've
friend.
gotta wear more
And
makeup.
we like the ratings; they help. And Didi has her own
It's
rating
easy.
system.
This
So
one's
what's this?
easy.
Okay, come on, tell me.
50 out of 5.
Woohoo! We'll be in the ears next week. Ciao,
fabulous. See you
ciao.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.